of change is blowing a hurricane. Let's give them the Disenfranchised podcast. We're that podcast all about those franchises of one. Those films that fancy themselves full-fledged franchises before falling flat on their face after the first film. I am your host. Hey, it's me, Stephen Foxworthy. And joining me, as always, the man who, if you're hungry, you just take a bite of my friend, your friend and mine. It's Tucker. Hey, Tucker.
Hi, Stephen. How's it going?
Not bad. How are you?
Pretty okay. I just got off work.
Just got off work and I've just been drinking.
Straight
so
up.
We're going to have a fucking night.
Straight up earning my keep.
That's right. It's about time. Honestly. Can I just say it's about damn time?
It's been about 6 months.
It has. Yeah. And honestly, you've been driving us all nuts. So we're glad you finally have something to occupy your time.
Yeah. I can dig it.
And speaking of our co-host and dear friend Brett Wright is currently on a mission behind. Basically, he's on a mission in Scotland. We don't have a lot of details, but he may or may not be looking for a cure. To what? I don't know. But we wish him a very speedy and healthy return and recovery.
But they told him it was going to be a Renaissance fair, and they weren't wrong. That's what attracted him initially, was the Ren Fair.
It is
aspect.
Your boy Brett do love a good Ren Fair. Do love a good high fantasy excursion from time to time. Who doesn't? I don't know. There are some people, man. There are some people.
Oh, I don't know.
You think?
Maybe.
I don't know. Anyway,
let us know in the comments.
Boom!
On patreon.com/disenfranchised, the official conversation of the Disenfranchised podcast.
We have a free feed, and on the free feed, we do drop every episode on the main feed. But I would say not even behind the paywall, because it's free to join that totally tier. Free. And once you're there, you can listen to every episode that we drop and join in the conversation. We got a comment section. Tucker and I do respond. So, join in.
It's been very useful the last couple of weeks because I have just been fucking up left and right.
I wasn't going to say anything.
Today, did you hear about this, Steven? You seen this? You heard about this?
Oh, fuck. What'd you do now?
The What Are We Watching episode that I dropped yesterday.
Right.
Somehow our audio was out of sync. And when I pulled up the file, our audio was in sync. But it must have been Zencaster, started yours a little before mine or something. And that's never happened before. So, we were out of sync and I had to go in there and fix it. But it's fixed now. So if you're a patron and you couldn't stand how awful and shitty it sounded, it's fixed now. So go back and you can listen to it.
I'm legitimately glad we have Norvin around to tell us these things.
Tech support, man. QA, there we go. Quality assurance guy.
Well, hey, and we appreciate you. We're not gonna give you a stipend. But we're glad you're around.
No, in fact, you still have to pay us.
Correct.
But we appreciate
look,
you. Yeah,
we're glad you do.
Yeah,
legit glad you do. We've been talking about movies related tangentially, at least, to movies coming up toward the end of this month, Memorial Day weekend. There's a ton of shit dropping. And so we've been prepping for it. Last week, we talked about a movie with an animated movie based on a comic strip with a really, let's say, incongruous vocal performance. This week, we're talking about a movie with a badass female protagonist with one missing appendage or a missing body part caught between two warlords in a barren post-apocalyptic wasteland. Because Furiosa is going to be dropping in theaters at the end of this month. We're talking about what movie, Tucker?
We are talking about 2008, right?
Yep,
2008's Doomsday. And let me tell you, Steven, I'm going to go watch Furiosa at the movie theater.
I want to so bad.
Look, I was probably going to anyway, but the fact that I accidentally bought that 4K box set the other day, now I feel like I owe it to myself. I have to go see it now.
You do, man. Look, man. So Tucker accidentally bought the 4K box set of the Mad Max anthology.
I did. It was in my cart because I was thinking about it. Then I bought something else, and like I'm like, what do you mean $70? Oh shit! I guess I own that now.
I bought a few Blu-rays this week, and UPS does not even try to deliver to my apartment. They just kind of like jiggle the handle, and I'm like, "Fuck it." Never mind the fact that there's a buzzer right here that I could push and get someone to come down and take this order. Nope, just gonna like jiggle the handle, say "fuck it," and drop it off somewhere. Last time that happened, we didn't get our package, so I'm really hoping the Blu-rays that I ordered are actually where they say they're
What
going
are
to be.
they? What are they, Steven?
I got a couple Satoshi Kon steelbooks, Perfect Blue and Millennium Actress, and then I also got the one David Lynch movie I don't own that I can own on physical media that I'm not planning on buying in the upcoming Criterion sale, which is
Well,
Wild at Heart.
oh yeah. You're talking about that on What Are We Watching? I'm gonna be that.
Yes.
Yeah, we
Yes.
talked about that for a minute.
What are we watching? A thing you can only find at patreon.com/disenfranchpod. For $5 a month, you can get access to all of our behind the scenes content, including the bi-weekly episodes of What Are We Watching? So
And
there you
you'll
go.
get a preview of what I think about Daddy and Them before we do it on Straight Up. So go watch
Yeah.
Daddy and Them.
Yeah,
I
prep for
finished
that
that.
episode coming in 2025.
I finished that Jim Varney biography, Stephen.
Word?
I did. I
Good?
finished it, and it was. Well, here's the thing. It's not very well written. It's written by Jim Varney's nephew, and
Okay.
he admittedly is not a writer, which he says so, like in the preface. But he did have help from an editor, and it's fine,
Mm-hmm.
like the way it's put together. Um, it's serviceable. It gets the story out there in a way that's not boring or annoying, but it's not quite as professional as you would expect something like that to be.
Or as you would hope, maybe that it
Yeah,
might be.
but it was still really good, and it was really insightful, and it was really, really interesting, and it just made me love and respect Jim Varney even more, which I didn't think was possible.
I mean, what a guy.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
fantastic, dude.
I've loved Jim Varney for most of my life. So
Yeah, dude. Got to
yeah.
read that book. I think there's a documentary coming out too that they're doing the same,
Oh
like
hell yeah.
his nephew and some people are putting something together.
I love that for all of us.
I'll buy it for sure.
Oh, of that I have no doubt whatsoever.
Yeah.
And that's why we're talking about 2008's Doomsday, directed by
Doomsday.
Neil Marshall, written also by Neil Marshall, and starring Rona Mitra, the late, great Bob Hoskins,
Oh, yeah.
David O'Hara, Malcolm McDowell, Alexander Siddig, Adrian Lester, Craig Conway, Leanne Liebenberg, and Sean Pertwee and Darren Moffat. What a cast, Tucker. Should I say it? Dare I say it?
Sure.
What a picture.
Hey, who was that guy that he just wouldn't clear his throat? Who was that guy?
Are you Michael O'Hara
I wish he would clear his throat, man.
as
Just
the as the official under the prime minister?
just a little I have to look, my kid does this all the time, like, cuz she doesn't pay attention to stuff like that. Like, she'll
No.
just be walking around like just talking like and I'm like, dude, you have to clear your throat because you're driving me fucking insane. And so
You
this
know a
whole
little
movie, I'm like, I wish you would clear your fucking throat, dude.
a
Please.
little Primatine might clear that up.
Yeah, come on.
Oh man. No, so yeah, because Furiosa is dropping in theaters, we have watched 2008's Doomsday by Neil Marshall,
Doomsday.
the second Neil Marshall movie we've covered on this podcast after Dog
You guys
Soldiers.
did Dog Soldiers? I think that's
We
his
did.
best, Steven. You were saying something before about maybe The Descent, and I do
I
like The
think it's The
Descent,
Descent. I love The
but
Descent. The Descent is probably a top 5 horror movie for me.
for me it's Dog Soldiers because it's really one of only a handful of werewolf movies that I even give a shit about.
That's
Honestly.
interesting because I love werewolf movies. I was just on the Spectre Cinema Club talking about Wolf,
Yeah,
1994's
dude.
Wolf,
I like that one. Only because
which
it's
is
so silly, though.
it's a fucking great movie. I
It's
adore
so
it to death.
silly.
But what are the werewolf movies you do like?
I like American Werewolf in London.
Obviously, classic.
And I also, though I haven't watched it in a long time, when I was a young film fan, I
Hmm.
also really enjoyed American Werewolf in Paris.
Oh,
And
you're the one.
I didn't really understand the hate for it. Like, it's for a sequel, like a 20-year sequel kind of reboot, sort of remake. It's not bad. Like, it's a product of when it came out. That's what an American Werewolf movie would be like in like 1996. So to
Maybe
me,
we should
kind
do
of,
another one called American Werewolf in Munich and put a
or
werewolf in Germany.
yeah. Excuse me. See, I immediately cleared my throat. Immediately. I'm just saying, dude, in this movie, come on, step up, man.
Hmm.
Yeah, what were we talking about? Sorry.
Werewolf movies.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. And, I like Dog Soldiers. I like Ginger Snaps. I
A
like all three
classic.
of those.
A
Yeah.
fucking classic. Yeah, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I don't know if you'd count it as a werewolf movie, but there are werewolves in it. I like Van Helsing.
Okay. How do you feel? I mean, see our previous episode on Van Helsing. Um, how do you feel about my boy Joe Dante's The Howling, though?
I never really got much into The Howling. I saw it once, again, probably around the same time I was talking about with American Werewolf in Paris.
Hmm.
I was probably 16 or 17, and it didn't really leave much of an impression on me, so I haven't watched it since. But if you think that I should revisit it as a much, much, much older man, then I'd be
I
willing
want
to
to
take a look
revisit
at
it.
it.
I want to revisit it. So let me know if you're going to revisit it, and we can revisit it together.
Okay.
Because I have been meaning to rewatch it. I watched it for the first time in 2020 when I did my Dante watch through
Yeah,
during the pandemic when I had nothing to do but watch movies.
that's what I assumed. Yeah.
Yeah, so I watched over 400 movies that year, and one of them was The Howling, and I really enjoyed it. And I
Dick
want
Miller's in it,
to.
right?
I mean, it's a Joe Dante movie, so
I'm saying,
yes.
okay. The only place it's available digitally is to rent on Amazon for $2.99, and that's in
Mm.
standard definition.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I have the Blu-ray. I own the Blu-ray. I can see if I can get it onto my let me see if I can get it onto my Google Drive,
Mm-hmm.
and let me see if I can hook you up cuz
Okay.
yeah. But no, I remember really enjoying The Howling. In fact, the first time I watched it, I liked it better than American Werewolf in London, which is kind of the gold standard of werewolf movies.
Yeah.
And I've since kind of switched my position, but I need to revisit The Howling just to see kind of where it lands. I said when I was watching them for the first time, someone said it's the second best werewolf movie of 1981, which is good enough to make it the second best werewolf movie of all time.
Pretty much. Yeah.
After American Werewolf in London, which I mean, there's a strong case to be made.
Yep. I agree.
So, but yeah, I let's rewatch The Howling together. I like that idea.
I'm
I
into it.
love that for us.
I don't remember anything about it.
I
Everything's going to
remember
be brand new.
I remember so little. I know there's a scene in a porno theater, just like there is an American Werewolf in London. Um, and I know there's some like kind of self-help guru kind of subplot in it because Dante's all about that satire.
Like Mike Myers
So
shows up in the costume,
no,
right? No, does the accent.
no,
Like,
no. There is no Guru Pitka.
I'd
No
watch
Guru
that movie.
Pitka.
I want that crossover. Can we get that?
The how?
Directed by Joe Dante.
I mean, if it's directed by Dante, I'm in. The problem is that Mike Myers has pretty much burned every bridge one could possibly burn.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll talk about this whenever we get to the Love Guru. I think that might be the first Valentine's Day episode that Mike Snoonian is not on because
Um,
I don't think he wants to watch the Love Guru.
I think I know we haven't seen Mike Myers in a long time, but I think we will see him this winter on the SNL 50th special.
Probably.
It's
I
going to be
mean,
on a
obviously,
Sunday, Steven, and it's going to be 3
someone
hours
didn't
long.
watch. Someone didn't watch the Pentaveret. That's all I'm saying.
The what?
The Pentaveret, his Netflix
Fuck
show.
is that? No, what the fuck is? I ain't never heard of that. What's he doing? That is it funny or is it
I
a drama?
I've not watched it, but I think it's a comedy,
Oh wait,
and it's based on a joke from So I Married an Axe Murderer, which is quietly my favorite Mike Myers movie.
I do like that movie a lot.
That movie fucking slaps. I love it so much. But there's the joke his dad tells about the Pentaveret, about the five wealthy families that like run everything. It's like the Rothschilds, the Gateys, and then the last one is Colonel Sanders.
Wow.
There's a secret ingredient in his chicken that makes you crave it fortnightly. Aye, with his wee beady eyes. Aye, you're gonna eat me chicken. And then what's his name? Anthony LaPaglia can't even keep a straight face because Myers is making him laugh so hard. Like
Wowzer.
he's just laughing through all those scenes together because he cannot fucking keep it together.
And because they
Which
are
is
friends.
they are.
They
You know what? You know who else is friends, Tucker?
Who dat?
We're friends. You and
We
I.
are?
We're friends. We are.
Nice. I like
I
that for
like to
us.
think I like to think so.
Oh yeah.
You may have a different read, but I like to think that we are friends.
Well, I gotta tell you, Steven, I hadn't considered it. But now that you mention it, I suppose we are.
You bastard. Tucker is a bastard, man. And that's why we're talking about 2008's Doomsday. Brought it back.
That's the third time that we've tried to start talking about 2008's Doomsday.
Doomsday. Directed by Neil Marshall. Yeah, so this is I don't know, I was looking forward to this one and I didn't have super high expectations because I try not to go into too many movies with super high expectations on a first time watch. If I'm excited, sometimes I can't help it. This one I was kind of measured about because it's Neil Marshall. I love The Descent, but I'm not. I love The Descent. I like Dog Soldiers, but like I haven't seen any of the rest of his
Steven.
stuff, and I haven't heard of most of it. Do what?
Your audio stopped for a minute and I didn't hear anything that you said. But
Oh,
now you're back. Yeah.
oh.
Yeah, dude.
Do you think it recorded locally?
Yeah,
Should
of
I
course it
try to say
did.
it all again?
No. It recorded locally for you. That doesn't even. Yeah, it's yeah. You're good. You're good.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
happens all the time. Barely an inconvenience.
Hey. But so this is actually his third movie after The Descent and Dog Soldiers.
Yup.
Um, much bigger budget, and it's a very kind of high concept sci-fi action thriller extravaganza. I don't know. It wears its influences on its sleeve, which I kind of dig because I kind of like all the movies this is riffing on, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. It is easy to see where they took their influences from.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
You got a lot of Mad Max. You got a lot of Escape from New York. You
yeah.
even got some like zombie virus 28 days later kind of stuff too. Like it's wearing all those right on its sleeve, out in the open, loud and proud. And honestly, I kind of dig it. I kind of dig it.
Yeah, it's fine. It's okay.
It's fine.
Yeah,
It's fine.
it's fine.
I mean, you've even got some like Gladiator, some Lord of the
Yeah.
Rings in there. Like it's just kind of it's a big stew of influence, and
They
it's kind of
even
like Neil Marshall's. I'm throwing everything at the wall and just seeing what sticks.
they
Kind
even
of.
did the bungee fights from Thunderdome.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. That
I
was a little
love
too on the
Thunderdome.
nose for me, honestly. And if I could
You think so?
segue into my history with this and whatever segment.
Yeah, go for it, man.
Um
Go off, King.
so Dog Soldiers, um I don't remember how I came across it, honestly. I think a friend showed it to me
Mm-hmm.
and it was kind of when it was just released on DVD.
Mm-hmm.
When did Dog Soldiers come out?
Dog Soldiers 2002.
Oh, yes. Okay, I do remember who showed that to me actually. But anyway,
Care to
so
reveal for the class?
uh, I would need to give you too much context, which I didn't have neither the time nor the patience to do right now.
Touche.
But anyway, I always really liked Dog Soldiers, and then when The Descent came out, I thought that was really, really rad.
Love the
I
Descent.
really
God,
love that it's its own story. You know, there was never a sequel made. I like that they just kind of kept it with the one movie. If you see anything that says The Descent 2, it's not real. It's like when they did like Zombie 2 and 3 and 4, but it wasn't actually a sequel to Dawn of the Dead. It's an international thing. There's just the one. They just descend one time.
International being American, because the British
Yeah.
version's pretty decisively no sequel for you. America's
Yeah.
like, I think we can milk another one out of this.
Man. Anyway, I really liked The Descent, and I really, really liked Dog Soldiers, and that's why I never watched this movie, because I saw a trailer for it. I'd seen the cover, I looked at the box art on the DVD, and it was just like, we gave your favorite low budget filmmaker a shit ton of money. And I was like,
Yep.
nope, no thanks, nope. Mm-mm. I've been fucked on that way too many times, man.
I mean, that is 100% what this movie is let's give this guy who makes these tiny, intimate little genre pieces just a metric fuck ton of money and let him go loose. And I quite like the result. I think the result is fun, but I can absolutely see why people might check out on this one.
There are a few. Most of my gripes are they don't really matter. Like, but there's a couple problems I have with this movie that I just can't overlook. That's what keeps it from being like good in my eyes. That's why it's fair.
I mean, we're gonna get into it.
Yeah, yeah.
We're absolutely gonna get into it.
What's your history with this business, Steven?
I mean, look, I watched both The Descent and Dog Soldiers in 2020.
I can't believe it. You watched a movie in 2020, Steven?
I watched
That's
so many
absurd.
fucking movies in 2020, Tucker. I watched both in 2020. I loved The Descent. I thought Dog Soldiers was really good. Um, I think a sentiment I echo on our episode on Dog Soldiers with our good friend Kat Scully. Seriously, check out our previous episode on Dog Soldiers.
It's really good, and I'm not in it, but it's still really good.
You're not, but you know who is in it? Kat Scully. God, we need to get her back on the show. She's incredible. One of our favorite guests. We've not had her on in years. I mean, in fairness, I think we've all kind of had some shit going on in our lives over the past few years, but she's got some shit coming up soon that I really want to get her on to talk about. So
nice.
We're absolutely going to get her on. But the first time we had her on was for Dog Soldiers. I met her on an episode of Pod and the Pendulum on the Army of Darkness. We were on together, and it was like, hey, you want to come talk about? I think it was Dead Silence first, and then we parlayed that into Dog Soldiers, and so it was just kind of like, yeah, I don't think we've had her on since. Have we had her? I don't think we've had her on since Dog Soldiers. That's a shame. We need to get her back on. She's incredible.
Yeah, for sure.
So I've seen both of his first movies, and I hadn't seen any of the others. And I was literally just doing research, like what is inspired by Mad Max. I was looking for something that we could potentially cover to kind of fill the Furiosa spot for this weekend. I had Marmaduke locked in. I had next week's episode locked in already. This was the one I was looking for. And I stumbled on Doomsday, and I was like, this feels oddly perfect. So I scheduled it and I watched it for the first time yesterday. I watched it in bits and babs yesterday. Kind of started in the morning, kept going on my lunch break, finished it up like literally moments before we were supposed to record, and then we ended up tapping out on last night.
I was so thankful.
I know you were. You were. I could feel the relief in that text message. I really could.
Oh man, I was so tired.
And I was in a weird headspace last night. I'm in a weird headspace tonight, not gonna lie. Like, weird headspace is just kind of the name of the game this week, I think.
Yeah.
But no, it really, I don't know, I dug it. Like, that's the thing I think about Neil Marshall movies is he's the kind of guy who can deliver on a high concept premise in a way that is fairly interesting. Now, I've not seen anything after Doomsday. I've not seen Centurion or Hellboy or The Reckoning or The Lair. I've not seen any of his movies after that. Um, but I think at this point I will. I feel like I will absolutely sit down and watch those movies at some point,
Let us know how that
just to kind
goes.
of. Look. If you're a patron, you'll hear all about it on What Are We Watching. If you're not, I may or may not mention it on main feed. So let that be your, I don't know, whatever. But I have a feeling he's one of those guys. I think most of his films are ones we could potentially cover on main feed.
I don't know. This one has an obvious sequel hook at the end.
It is, I don't think he had any ideas for sequels for his first two movies, but I think he absolutely had a direction to go for this one. I think he definitely had a sequel in mind, as evidenced by the way this movie ends.
Yeah.
But this movie didn't, spoiler alert, did not do well enough to garner
No.
any kind of sequel attention whatsoever, which, depending on who you ask, is a shame.
Hey, you know what? This movie was just fine, but I'd watch a sequel. I probably wouldn't
It
go to the theater and see it, but I might rent it.
it
You
feels
know?
like the kind of movie that if it were like a lower budget, like if the filmmaker had like a lower budget, he would try to make like 7 or 8 of these things, just like crank these things out like one
Oh
every
yeah,
couple years,
yeah,
because it is the kind of premise, it's the kind of idea that really lends itself well to franchise material, which is why we're talking about it, because it would work well in a franchise. And I think the existence of movies like the Mad Max sequels and Escape from LA are kind of evident, and even 28 weeks later are all kind of evidence of that fact. Like, these stories really lend themselves well to franchises, and he takes kind of some of his favorite entries and some of his favorite franchises, mixes them all together, and what comes out is a movie that, by all accounts, had it found its audience, probably would be a franchise by now.
yeah. I could see that. I could see that. Um, I was about to say something that I really liked, and then I got distracted by something that I really didn't like.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Dang it! I was
It was
about to.
me, wasn't
I
it?
was about to.
I was I was the thing you didn't like.
I
It's
was
okay.
about
You
to.
can tell
I
me.
was about to praise this movie, Steven.
I mean, you should praise it like you should.
Um, I think it's ugly. I think it's
It,
an ugly
unpack
movie.
that. Unpack that a little for me.
Um, I don't think that it's poorly shot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think that it's so poorly edited
Ooh, okay.
that it it just makes everything ugly because it jumps around so much and
Mm-hmm.
not for no reason though. Like I'm not opposed to frenetic editing, but for no fucking reason. Like if you're going back and forth between two shots like 3 times in less than a second, I don't need that, man. Like linger on something for a second. Let me understand what's happening. You keep switching me around. I don't know where the fuck I am and what's happening.
So this film is edited by Andrew McRitchie and Neil Marshall himself. McRitchie is an editor known for films like a future episode of this podcast, Sahara, the James Bond film Die Another Day,
Yeah, those probably
uh,
suck too.
a TV series. He does a lot of TV. It looks like The Musketeers, Harley and the
Okay.
Davidsons, Sinbad. But yeah, his first movie is The New Adventures of Pinocchio, which has future episode of this podcast written all over it. And his
Remember
second
that.
movie is Die Another Day, widely regarded as one of the worst Bond
I'm
films.
saying, man, the editing killed this movie for me. It killed it so hard. That and I thought that it kind of was too comfortable sort of living in its influences. I don't think it did enough different. It wasn't just like one thing. It did have a lot of influences and a lot of references and stuff, and it was really cool. But I don't think they really spent enough time not doing that to really do anything that interested me. Like everything that happened in the movie was like, oh, that's kind of a trope, and we're kind of doing it pretty much the
Right.
same way that it's always done. It's cool, I guess. I will admit this movie pops off a few times.
It
Like
does.
I'll
I
tell you
mean,
what, like before that
that
first
car chase though.
pop off, when they first go into the behind the wall and they first get out of the trucks and they're walking around, it's all quiet and everything. Once that shit pops off, like up to that point, I was like, I don't think I like that. I think this movie sucks. And then that happened, and I was like, hold on, okay, wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it doesn't suck.
Reserving judgment for a
Maybe
moment.
it doesn't suck. Yeah, and that's kind of how the whole movie was for me. Just a series of like really low lows and really high highs. And it was usually the action set pieces that were the highs for me.
I I agree with you. I think the action set pieces are really really well executed. Um,
Agreed.
but I think there's some the narrative stuff in this movie is where I found it kind of lacking. Like there's obviously a mythology here, but I don't feel like it's as well fleshed out as it should be.
They don't spend enough
Um,
time with it. Like they get there, they get to where they need to be, and then they solve the problem.
exactly. It's like we're too busy trying to lay out this story we want to tell and hitting the beats we want to hit to really kind of live in this world to the extent that we need to. And
Yeah.
I think that's the thing that bothered me most about this movie, which is again, I enjoyed this. I liked this movie. I was pumping my fist in the air when she drove the Bentley through the bus that was shooting the the uh, the 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 saw blades.
Yes.
Like I fucking loved that shit. That was amazing. Like I rewound it and watched it twice. I liked it that much. I was pumping my fist in the air both times. Like I
That was pretty
loved it.
rad. Yeah.
It's Fury Road before Fury Road. Like it manages to do something that can now is Fury Road still an infinitely better movie? Yes, Fury
Yeah.
Road is an object of perfection.
To date,
This
there
is
is no bad Mad Max movie. They're all
you
at
know what?
least good.
Let me check my notes here. Agreed.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: George Miller, good filmmaker.
Yeah, dude.
Like,
Happy
dude
feet and
knows
all.
how to absolutely happy feet and all. You get Hugh Jackman and Nicole Kidman playing penguin lovers,
Yeah.
and Elijah Wood as their child. You get the sequel with Brad Pitt and Matt Damon as Krill. Like,
Did
what
he
the
direct
fuck,
the
man?
sequel too?
Yes, he did.
Oh, sweet. That's cool.
Yeah. He also directed the sequel to the movie Babe, which he did not feel confident enough in to direct, but he definitely decided to direct that sequel.
Yeah.
Babe Pig in the City. And
Which
then he also
he could have. I wish he would have directed the first one, honestly, because that was the better script.
agreed. Agree. Oh, without question, agreed.
Yeah.
And the character of Miller in this movie, named in homage to George Miller.
Oh yeah, and Carpenter for John Carpenter.
For John Carpenter of Escape from New York
Escape
fame.
from New York. Yeah.
Yeah, the you know the criminal hero, former military with one eye,
Yeah.
it's right. Again, it wears its influences on its sleeve for good or ill. Like you absolutely know what this movie is cribbing from. Marshall makes no attempts to hide it whatsoever. Like you've got a person with one eye, ex-military, kind of on the outs from things, being sent into a quarantined area on a specific mission. This is basically Escape from Glasgow.
And if you don't accomplish the mission, don't bother coming back.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason for you to return.
None whatsoever. And in fact, even if there is a reason, we don't want you back.
Nah.
Is eventually what it comes down to.
They were welding those doors back shut as soon as they
closed
they
were
them.
as soon as they closed them. No, man. I there are things in this movie I absolutely love. When this movie is popping, it is 100% on point. And when it's not, it's
Really
really
not.
sadly, tragically not. Which is a big old fucking bummer. Cause I really wanted to adore this movie. I really did.
Yeah.
I wanted to like be like, oh, this is a secret masterpiece on par with like The Descent, but it's not. I can't say that. In good conscience, I cannot say. Is it fun? Yes. Did I enjoy it? Yes. Would I watch it again? I would. But like, do I like it as much as Dog Soldiers, and do I like it as much as The Descent? I do not.
I'd watch the first big action scene in this movie again. I'd watch that again because you've
I'd
got
watch
like
that car chase again. Fuck, that car
the
chase is awesome.
I mean, I'm saying at the beginning when they all start attacking them and then they start attacking the vehicles and the vehicles get all beaten up and then that gal's in there and she comes up and
Mm-hmm.
she gets the lady and then the dude gets shot through the or the lady gets shot through the throat while she's driving and all the and everything's going crazy and it's just really wild and that
It's
was edge of
good.
my seat kind of stuff. Like that was fantastic filmmaking. That's I would say that's a 5 stars out of 5 stars action scene from top to bottom.
Like, and again, like we said, the set pieces in here are really good. The gladiatorial
Fantastic.
fight
Yes.
is awesome. Like
Very satisfying.
yeah, and I feel like this editor knows how to edit action sequences at least,
Yeah.
but like dialogue sequences maybe not so well.
He's editing them like they're action scenes and it's like, dude, calm down. Like we got to chill out for just a second. Like
Look, we all like Michael
less
Bay.
cuts. Yeah.
We all love Michael Bay. Michael Bay's a great director. He's fantastic.
He's a talented
Not
man.
not every movie needs to be a Michael Bay movie.
No. I would
Not
say
every
even
action movie needs to be a Michael Bay movie.
I would say even Michael Bay is less frenetic with the cutting in non-action scenes. I think the only thing that has ever rivaled this is Bohemian Rhapsody.
A movie I have not seen and have no plans to see.
That fucking movie, Steven, it's so I don't even know if it's a good movie or not because it's so poorly edited that I can't pay attention to it because it's so distracting how fucking awful the editing is.
You know what's kind of funny to me?
Jokes?
That I mean, it is a joke. Rami
Jokes
Malek
are
won an
funny.
Oscar for that movie.
Man, I don't understand it.
I've never seen it. I don't know that I ever will. It's kind of one of those movies that everyone's mom really loved, and I can't bring myself to watch it for that reason.
Yeah.
There's a part of me that kind of wishes I could enjoy it, that I could watch it and enjoy it. But then there's another part of me that just knows myself well enough to know not going to happen.
Yeah. Don't waste your time, Steven. Watch this movie again.
You know what? I probably feel like I'd rather.
There you go.
But yeah,
Problem
I
solved.
mean, this is the third Neil Marshall movie I've seen, and it's my third favorite Neil Marshall movie.
Hey, same.
So, there you go. And but it is the movie that makes me realize that I want to watch his other movies. Like I've enjoyed the 3 that I've seen enough. Again, I don't want to make it seem like I have not enjoyed this. I did not enjoy this movie. This movie is fun. I liked it. When this movie is hitting, it is hitting. But then the rest of the movie feels so forgettable.
Just dumb, and who cares? Like,
right?
who fucking cares?
Another thing I will say this movie does very well: costume, makeup, and set design.
Yeah.
Like our art direction are fucking phenomenal in this movie.
Mhm.
Like the costuming on Saul's gang alone is next level. Like the Mad Max kind of like warriors, gang of misfits.
Very comic booky, yeah.
Aesthetic is very cool.
Tank Girl
Like
kind of thing.
Tank Girl, Mad Max,
Yeah.
yes, like very much that kind of aesthetic, which I dig. I like that. I love to see that kind of thing because again, and particularly I think her name is Viper, the girlfriend of Saul.
Oh, and that gal that what gets her head cut off.
what gets her head cut off and is riding shotgun, like her corpse is riding shotgun with Saul because he can't bear to like part with her. Um, like the makeup, like the face makeup is so good. Like she becomes kind of the avatar for this movie. She's like this front and center on all the marketing. She's got that like really elaborate like face tattoo, and then like the spikes kind of popping off the top of her head. Like it's very, I don't know, it's very cool. It's very visually striking. She has very little to do in this movie,
Yeah, judging by the
but
poster, you'd think that this was a movie about that character.
I thought it was. I had no reason to think
No,
otherwise.
no. It
It
does
is
make her seem a bit more imposing than maybe the film actually does on its own. When she does
correct.
appear, you're like, "Oh, that's that gal from the poster." Now shit's gonna happen, and then she gets her
And
head cut off 10 minutes later.
right. I mean, for the time that she's on, the look, the vibe is very badass.
Yeah, she's cool. She's really good at doing like that scary, sexy thing.
Yeah. Leanne Liebenberg is the actress's name. I want to shout her out because, again, I think she does a really good job in this movie. I think the character is a little underwritten, as I think most of the characters in this
And
movie
over
are.
promoted.
But I like that. I like what she does with what she has.
Agreed.
There's not a lot, but she makes an impression. And I think that is why she's front and center on so much of the marketing. Because she is such a distinctive look. And the character itself, for what it for her appearance, is fun. Like it's engaging. You just wish there were more. Gone too soon, but not forgotten.
You know what I wish there were more of in this movie, Steven?
What's that, Tucker?
Like, so do you remember at the beginning they set up in that super generic scene where people are just talking like they're reading stereo instructions about what all the gadgets do?
I think I know where you're going with this, and I think I agree with you.
They said all those words. They said so many words, Steven.
A lot of words.
So many words about all those high-tech, like crazy weapons. And like really just that one that stopped the elevator, the grenade that stopped the elevator, that's the only one that was not just like a gun that shot bullets or a grenade that just blew up. Like, we didn't need all those words, man. What we need all those words for, Steven?
You know what I wish they had revisited in this movie was her
those gadgets. Oh yeah.
Her prosthetic eye. Like you see that in the first scene, and you're like, "This is gonna be something." Like,
yeah,
this
I
is gonna play a
forgot
role
until the end.
later
Honestly,
in this movie.
yeah.
And then it fucking doesn't. Like,
I
the
forgot
whole fucking movie.
Yeah.
The eye just never makes an appearance again.
Yeah.
And you're just like, why did we do that? Like, what the fuck was the point of setting that up if we're not gonna pay that off later?
A creative way to homage Snake Plissken, I guess.
I guess. While not making your lead actress wear an eye patch the whole fucking movie,
or even acknowledge it again until like the last 5 minutes.
Right, and even then, it's not great. It's like the acknowledgement is just kind of like, "Oh, she recorded it." Shrug.
You're like, "Oh yeah, she does have that eye. I maybe that from an hour and a half ago.
If only we had done something with it in the
Right?
interim." Because you get the impression that she can use it tactically and well.
Yeah.
But then she never fucking does. And you're like, all these fights, I'm like, how useful would that thing fucking be?
Yeah. And see that.
But no, never uses it.
All that little stuff like that bothers me because this is a better movie than that.
Like, it is. It should be.
It's better. It's better than that. It's above all this bullshit that we're having to sit through.
You know what it feels like to me? It feels like a blank check movie. Like one of those movies where no one told the director he couldn't do what he wanted to do. And so he put everything out there and someone needed to be there to check him and rein him in a little.
Yeah.
Like someone needed to be able to pull back and just be able to talk to him a little critically about what was going on.
All the greats are like that.
I agree. Most directors, when left to their own devices, are going to end up turning out something that's not that great. There are exceptions, obviously, your Spielbergs, your Scorseses, your Nolans, who are going to just... Ryan Johnson, who are going to bring it to the mat every time.
Yeah.
But most directors, most artists need that kind of friction, need that kind of contrasting idea, because when they go all in, it ends up being kind of messy. James Cameron, another example of one
Mhm.
who kind of always manages to bring it to the
Well,
mat.
and when you have a blank check movie and nobody holding you back, I think for most people the first instinct would be to lean into everything that's worked for you before,
Right.
and to
Or to
have
explore all the ideas that you've never had a chance to because your budgets have been too small.
yeah, or somewhere in between. But what I'm saying is you need somebody to kind of challenge you on some of your bad ideas, you know? I think everybody needs an editor, honestly, because
And again,
it's hard to edit your own work because you're looking at it only from your perspective. You need somebody
it's
else to
hard to
look at
be
it.
objective.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I again, I don't think this movie has a lot of bad ideas. I think it has too many ideas to execute all of them effectively.
I agree.
I like this movie. I feel like I keep needing to defend that position because I feel like I'm being really hard on it.
No, it's
Like
fun.
I
It's
like
fun.
this movie. It's a lot of fun, but I think there's just too much going on to sustain a single narrative thread. Like this, I think this would work better. Honestly, this whole story would work better as a television miniseries.
I was thinking that myself.
Stretch this out over 8 to 10 episodes, and I think this concept, this idea would work so much better.
Flesh it out, man, because it deserves
Yes.
to be. Like it's a lot of really interesting ideas there, but we don't really get to investigate any of them.
Let's spend some time with these characters. Let's dig into what's going on. Let's give, the fucking doctor his own kind of sidebar. Let's give the villain, like, let's see our villain origin stories. Like, how did Kane get to where he is? Like, let's actually dig into this shit, as opposed to just kind of hand waving so much of this away. Like, why does Saul hate Kane? Is it just because it's his dad, or is there more going on there? I mean, obviously Kane is a fucking bastard, man, but like, why? How did he come to power?
Well, and I
Like, there's
think
so many narrative threads here that we can pull on, but we don't really get to pull on any of them because we just don't have the time.
well, and I think as far as the characters go, I think the biggest mistake made in this was mistaking an a boisterous personality with character development. Like
Yes.
everybody in this movie has a big personality.
Mm-hmm.
And sure, that tells you a little more about them than if it were just a very basic person, but you can't
Right.
that doesn't count. That doesn't count as
No.
character development. Like
No.
and it which is a shame because the performances in this movie, these people know what characters they are. Like they
You
sell it.
get
They
some.
sell it.
You have some really great fucking actors in this
Mhm.
movie. Malcolm McDowell, the great Bob Hoskins, who we have not talked about on this podcast since Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Not enough Bob Hoskins in this movie, if you ask me.
Agreed. I needed Bob Hoskins to have a badass hero moment in this movie, and he
Hmm.
doesn't get it, and I feel cheated as a result.
He needed to at least be the guy in the chair who's over the radio the whole time. We at least
Correct.
need him. I need to hear him. I need to know he's there. I need Bob
At
close to
least
me,
that.
Steven.
I
I need him
always want
close
Bob
to me.
close to me.
Yeah,
Yes. I always carry Bob Hoskins close to my heart, and I
yeah,
always
dude.
will.
Oh yeah.
Like, no, I 100% agree with you. I needed more Bob Hoskins. I wanted more Bob Hoskins. I was craving more Bob Hoskins. The closest thing he gets to like a hero badass moment is when he shoots the zombie getting ready to attack the prime minister.
Yeah.
And it ends up being kind of a folly moment. But like, I wanted more of that from him.
Mhm.
Like, everybody else in this movie practically gets kind of some kind of badass moment, and he does not get one, and I felt cheated by that. Like, look, you get Bob Hoskins in your movie, and you're not gonna really let him shine beyond just like letting him shoot a zombie attacking the prime minister. Like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah. More Bob Hoskins. I also could have used.
Man, and this is only like a handful of years before he passes.
Yeah.
Like this is it running up to his like toward the end of his life. His last movie is Snow White and the Huntsman in 2012. He passes in 2014. So this is only like a handful of years before he actually ends up dying. And I mean, God, what a fucking great legacy. What a great filmography.
What's your favorite
Like,
Bob Hoskins performance, Steven? Go.
I mean, I'm always gonna have a soft spot for Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Sure.
It's always gonna be up
That's the
there.
nostalgia pick for sure.
It is absolutely the nostalgia pick. And honestly, I'm gonna say something really, really weird. I think he's the best part of Hook. A movie that
Do you not Dustin Hoffman though? Like they are a
look,
team in that movie.
I
Okay,
understand,
they are
but I
one,
think
and that's
the
Dustin
star
Hoffman's best performance.
the
Sorry.
star that is Bob Hoskins
Yeah.
burns a little brighter in my mind.
I don't know.
Here's the thing. I have not seen the one that most people agree is his best performance, Mona Lisa. I haven't seen Mona Lisa. I need to see Mona Lisa.
It's on
'cause
my watch list wherever it's
I've heard he's
streaming.
fucking incredible in that.
Yeah.
And he's also in one of my favorite movies, Brazil. Like I
Yeah,
love him in
dude.
Brazil.
Fuck yeah.
Like he's
great
so
in that
good in
movie.
Brazil.
I like
And
him. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
it's I feel like with the Hoskins, it's almost one of those like when's he bad kind of things. Like
Never.
he may be in some shitty movies, but he's always like just like Nick Cage, he's always bringing it.
He's always the best part.
Even in Hook.
I think my favorite Bob Hoskins performance, because it was the first time that he straight up scared the shit out of me, was in Unleashed.
A movie I have not seen.
With Jet Li
and Morgan Freeman.
And Morgan Freeman. Yeah, he's also in it. It's really, really good. And Bob Hoskins plays this crime lord guy, and Jet Li is like his dog.
His pet.
Like,
yeah.
He stole Jet Li as a kid and like trained him to be like a deadly dog, basically.
I mean, feels like the story of a lot of those Chinese performers from the Chinese circus, like Chan and Lee and Sammo Hung and those guys who are like put through this like rigorous training program to become these peak physical specimens able to do all these insane things. But yeah,
he basically uses him as a personal bodyguard. And
that's
Bob
a Louis Leterrier movie, isn't it?
I think so. Bob Hoskins is terrifying in that movie because he's just a man with no soul, no empathy, just plain fucking evil. There's no gray to that character. He's just mean, man. He's mean.
Tucker, I'm about to ruin your day. Do you know who wrote Unleashed?
Who?
Luc Besson.
Okay. Yeah, I think I knew that. Yeah.
Yeah. I know how you feel about Luc Besson.
Yeah, but that's fine. I don't have to watch his creepiness in the movie. You know what I mean?
Fair. One movie that is seemingly devoid of his creepiness.
Yeah. Yeah. So Unleashed. Wow.
I need to check that one out.
I don't know if it would count for a straight up. I don't know. I mean, it's not really that well known.
But it's not that obscure either.
Yeah, it's not. It's not.
Like that's one I legitimately remember seeing like trailers and stuff.
I went and saw that at the movie theater. I was really excited, mainly for Bob Hoskins, honestly.
Right on.
And
so
the
trailer,
the trailer was the shit, dude. It was a good trailer.
It was a good trailer. That I recall. I don't honestly, I feel like having seen the trailer, I've seen the movie, and I know that's not true, but I feel like it is.
You get the main beats. I mean, that's why it's a really good trailer, because it doesn't get into the specifics, but it basically tells you what you're in for.
Right on. You know, Tucker, we're about an hour into this damn thing, and you know what we haven't discussed?
We haven't done the plot. Let's do it.
Let's talk the plot of this motherfucking movie. So this is a segment we call the plot in 60 seconds. It's the part of the show where we, your host, at the behest of, in this instance, the Coin of Justice, which I have right here in my hand, Sparkle Sparkle, will recount the plot of this film 2008's Doomsday in 60 seconds or less. Tucker, I have got the coin of justice here in my hand. We've got the heads, which is Lady Justice, and tails, which is the Gibraltar crest.
The
I'm going to flip
jabroni.
the coin.
Okay.
I need you to call it in the air. Go.
Sure. It's heads, please.
It is heads, you motherfucker.
Yes. You got this, Steven.
I should put
stuff on the thing. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's my bad.
Yeah, man. That's, you got to be on it. Got to be on it.
I'm ready when you're ready.
All right. I'm not ready. I don't know if I could ever be ready, but let's go ahead and fucking do this thing.
Okay, go.
There's this thing called the Reaper virus, and it's like fucking rampaging fucking Scotland. And this girl gets out, and years later, she turns into a badass cop, and she's tasked with going into Scotland to find a cure because the virus has resurfaced again. And so she goes in, she's got a military team, and they all fucking die pretty much right away, except for a doctor and another soldier. They get kidnapped by a group of basically Mad Max rejects, and they escape with one of the prisoners. Sean Pertwee dies and gets fucking eaten. They escape, and it's the daughter of the guy they're looking for, who supposedly has the cure. Turns out he's just immune. That's the reason he's been able to survive. So they take his daughter, who's also immune, and they head back. They find a Bentley that can do all sorts of really cool fucking shit. They beat Malcolm McDowell. They beat his crew. They beat his son and all his crew. And they get there, and Canaris is the big bad guy behind the prime minister. And they basically defeat him.
That's time.
Yeah, I got a little tied in the weeds. I'm a little influenced right now.
And then she takes the head to everybody, and she's like, I'm the boss of the wasteland now.
Yeah, she basically becomes queen of the wasteland, which is,
we immediately all agree on that.
So yeah, let's unpack the ending, because I think the ending is, I like the ending of this movie and how it sets up the sequel that never will be for this movie. She gives Bob Hoskins the recording from her robot eye that has been, mystically a secret this entire fucking movie, because we just decided not to revisit it until the last possible fucking minute. Nope. And he exposes Canaris, who is kind of the power behind the throne of Alexander Siddig's prime minister. I want to do an Alexander Siddig sidebar here pretty soon, but we'll deal with that when we get to it. And basically exposes Canaris as a fascist, and basically how horrible he is.
And put him on TV.
Yeah, and Lord knows people saying terrible things on TV is enough to absolutely tank anybody. Lord knows no one has said awful things on TV and still managed to maintain and retain power and still have supporters 4 years later. God knows that's never happened.
No, that's just out of the realm of possibility, Stephen. That's why this is science fiction.
My blood is boiling, Tucker.
Science fiction, Steven.
And so he's basically done for. And meanwhile, she takes the fucking badass Bentley that they find, which that car, awesome. Like top 10 movie car for me is that Bentley. She drives it back to Glasgow, basically, where Saul's crew had been hanging out, the son of Cain, the brother of Callie, and basically chucks the head into the crowd and says the same things that they had said to her, is like, if you're hungry, have a bite of your friend. And they all just cheer. They love her. Yeah. And so you get the promise of a sequel wherein the main character of this movie is leading basically a Mad Max style army.
Yeah.
And we never get it, and we never will.
Nope.
This was not meant to be. If you're hungry, have a piece of your friend. That's the line.
Yeah.
Because when they broiled Sean Pertwee alive earlier in the movie, they offered her a piece of him.
That was rough. That was a pretty cool looking thing they did there.
Yeah. The second Neil Marshall movie where Sean Pertwee's death involves fire.
When they are cutting him up, that's really gross.
Yeah.
really, really gross.
I mean, I have seen future episode of this podcast, The Green Inferno. So like there's much more graphic dismembering scenes that I've seen.
I have not seen that.
Dude, it's pretty rough. We'll watch it one day. You probably won't like it, but we'll watch it.
I don't know. I could be in the mood for it, but the older I get, the less often I'm in the mood for a super graphic cannibal picture.
Sure. I understand. I totally get it, but that one absolutely was set up for a sequel that it never got. So
It's too bad.
is it?
I don't know because I haven't seen it.
Fair enough.
Okay.
I mean, I don't
Eli
know. I
Roth?
like it. Eli Roth. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I that makes me a little interested. I think
It's got Daryl Sabara. It's got Lorenza Izzo in it. Really great actress. So I mean, you know, it has its bright spots, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, I like Eli Roth as a filmmaker because you can feel his excitement in his movies. Whether they're good or bad, you can feel how excited he is to be making it in every single one.
We've got a couple Eli Roth films on the list for this podcast that we'll get to at some point. Yeah. Obviously, The Green Inferno, which we will get to. But we will also talk about his film, The Clock with The House with the Clock on the Walls.
Oh, I wanted to see that.
Yeah, that one's on our list.
Nice.
If I mean, I don't know, Thanksgiving probably will end up getting a sequel, but if not, we could totally talk about it.
I'd love to. Anytime I have a chance to have a long tangent about the film Grindhouse, I'm down.
Yeah, we are. I mean, we'll probably end up doing that as a 2-parter episode, but yeah. Oh, and Death Wish. How could I forget Death Wish? The Bruce Willis remake of the Charles Bronson film Death Wish.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're 3/4 of the way to an Eli Roth like theme month.
Theme month, yeah, dude. We talk about the rotten fruit. Yeah.
Was Knock Knock supposed to get a sequel? Speaking of Lorenza Izzo. Ana de Armas and Keanu fucking Reeves. Man, I need to see this movie. My partner has told me this movie rules.
I don't know anything about it.
I need to see. I mean, look, a devoted husband and father, Keanu Reeves, helps 2 stranded young women who knock on his door, but his kind gesture turns into a dangerous seduction and a deadly game of cat and mouse. That sounds fun to me.
Do you remember that movie where Keanu Reeves was the bad guy and James Spader was the good guy?
What?
And
you're making shit up now, son.
No, Keanu Reeves went around strangling ladies and stuff. And what the fuck was that called?
No, that didn't happen. I think you're making.
No, it was a lot of fun because normally it's the other way around. You know, normally Keanu Reeves is the hero and James Spader's the fucking creepo.
I was gonna say James Spader. Speaking of Wolf, plays a fucking great creepo.
Yeah, he is really good in that movie.
He's so good as a creep. When did it come out? Like, we talking 90s, 2000s? When did it come out?
Early 2000s, late 90s, maybe.
All right. We got.
Oh gosh, I can't believe I can't think of the name of it. It's really bothering me.
Is it Sweet November? It's Sweet November.
No,
isn't it?
no, it's not. It is. Wait, there's Wolf, Stargate. Ooh, I like Stargate too. The Watcher.
What year?
2000s. The Watcher.
Ah, The Watcher. Keanu plays Griffin.
Yeah, dude, he's a straight up a lady strangler guy.
Marissa Tomei in this movie?
Yeah, dude.
I do loves me some Marissa Tomei.
And of course, Ernie Hudson, Chris Ellis.
I was going to say, is that my boy Chris Ellis? No, we did not.
Sure?
You might have watched something with Chris
did.
Ellis, but I don't think we as a podcast have watched something with Chris Ellis in a while, if ever. Now, don't get me wrong. I loves me some Chris Ellis. That dude fucking rules.
You're famous for loving him.
One of the all-time that guy actors, really.
Yeah.
When you get right down to it, like, he is fucking great in everything. When's he bad? Chris Ellis, when's he bad?
I can't think of a time, honestly.
I can't either. Future episode of this podcast, G-Force. We're gonna cover him one day.
Oh boy, is that the hamster movie?
It sure is. I'm sorry, sir. Gerbil movie?
God. Same thing. I think it's guinea pigs, actually, you dingus.
Oh, well,
Like,
we both
I
done
was a
fucked
dingus.
up.
Look, I was a dingus for saying hamster, but at least hamsters kind of look like guinea pigs. Gerbils are like, they kind of look like mice.
Yeah, but I said gerbil, which starts with a G, you dingus. You
I
said
guess.
hamster movie for a movie called G-Force. Like, come on, dude.
Oh, that is fair, actually.
So I think we're on an
Oh
even
boy.
dingus playing field here.
I guess so. Just a couple of ding dongs.
Just a couple of God. Why do anyone fucking listen to this podcast?
Because ding dongs are fun to listen to.
I guess, man. I don't know what else we got to talk about with this movie. Like they tried to get Sean Connery to come out of retirement to play Kane, which would have been fun, but there's no fucking way he's doing it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a Malcolm McDowell role, though, and honestly, I love Malcolm McDowell. I think he's fantastic, but for me, he's kind of the Sweet Home Alabama of actors, where I'm just kind of, I could, I could never see another movie with Malcolm McDowell in it, and I'd be okay with that, just
mm,
because he's in all the movies, he's in like every movie.
Tank Girl's own Malcolm McDowell.
Yes. Rob Zombie's Halloween and Rob Zombie's Halloween 2's Malcolm McDowell. Yes.
He is, I think, one of the best parts of Halloween 2. Like he is so
I love his Loomis because it's such a just a 180 from the original
it
Loomis.
is. Like
Like, and I
him
love
with
that
the
he has
ponytail in the sequel is just perfect for me.
and I love that he has like a little redemption arc too because he's such a little shit in
Yes.
those movies.
He's a big
But
old
then
shit.
kind of halfway through the second one, he's like, well, maybe being a shit is not going to work in this situation.
Yeah.
Like,
Maybe I should pivot on this a little bit.
yeah. Maybe I should go old school Loomis for just a second.
Alexander Siddig, an actor I love. I know him for
Who's
one
that?
thing predominantly. He's the guy that plays the prime minister. He
Oh,
is
okay.
he is Julian Bashir in Star Trek Deep Space Nine, my
Oh,
favorite Star
fuck. You're
Trek
right.
series. Yes, he is.
Shit.
And he is one of those guys who just shows up in shit every now and again.
I
And
knew
just
him
like,
from somewhere, but I couldn't place him.
that's where you know him. He's
Wow.
Deep Space Nine, man. He's in like a few episodes of Peaky Blinders. Like he just shows up in shit.
I miss
And
DS9, man.
I love DS9, man. That is, for me, that is Star Trek. Like I love everything that does. I love the extended Dominion War plotline. I love motherfucking Jeffrey Combs just acting circles around everybody in that shit.
Yeah.
Avery motherfucking Brooks just bringing it to the mat every week as Ben Sisko. Like, God, I love that movie or that show. It's so good. It's
a
so
good
good.
show, yeah. Fantastic.
I would like to rewatch DS9 one of these days. Maybe I will.
You should.
Maybe I'll get into it and rewatch some DS9.
Yeah. I
I
like
agree,
to
I should.
like the Pluto TV and some of those other free streaming services, they'll have channels that it's just one show
Mm-hmm.
and it just plays the entire show in order for a couple months and it switches to a different show and that's the new channel. And
Right.
sometimes with stuff like DS9 to where like I don't really want to sit down and watch all of DS9, but if I catch a DS9 channel, I'm going to be hitting it intermittently
Mm-hmm.
through the couple months that it exists and watching
Yeah.
a couple episodes here and there for sure.
I mean, for my money, pound for pound, the entire arc of DS9, I would put up against any other full run of any Trek series, and I would say it would win the day.
I think it does a really good job of keeping all of the episodes as bottle episodes while while also forwarding the plot.
Right.
And Supernatural was really good about that too. I think that was probably the only other show that I think was that good at balancing that to where you could watch any episode and understand what's going on, but also it forwards the overall plot, whether
Right.
you're paying attention to it or not.
Sure. Yeah. No, and I mean, I dig DS9. I dig Alexander Siddig. Him and Garrick, like I love their dynamic. Andrew Robinson basically saying eventually, like, "Oh yeah, no, Garrick was 100% gay for Bashir." Like that is absolutely my entire motivation from the beginning.
I don't know
For
that we
this
needed
character.
confirmation on that, honestly.
I people are always gonna debate that shit, but no, he was
Yeah.
like, no, Garrick 100% gay for Bashir. And there was a reading they did, I think, during the pandemic before Robinson passed away. Robinson did pass away, right? I'm not saying shit. Like he
Well,
did.
gosh, I hope you're wrong, but
I also hope I'm wrong, but I think it happened. Um, if I remember
we shall see.
correctly.
We about to find out.
Nope, he's alive and I'm an asshole.
Oh, nice. Oh, well, I mean, at least we can say this: R.I.P. John Lovitz. That's one person we definitely know is dead.
Is he?
Yeah, he's absolutely dead,
When
dude.
did
I
that
mean,
happen?
nobody remembers, but he will be missed.
Willie?
R.I.P. Yeah.
Do we miss John Lovitz? Do we really?
No, that's the big joke, man. That's the big SNL joke. Do you remember on the 40th anniversary where they kept doing like in memoriam to John Lovitz, and he's in the audience like,
No,
"What? I'm alive."
I don't remember that at all. That's
And
really funny, though.
it's kind of been a running gag ever since.
Okay,
Everybody says that John Lovitz is dead.
Yeah. Also, John Lovitz, additionally known for his, so shall we say, fluid sexuality rumors.
Absolutely, I'd believe that. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Also
Without a
known
problem.
for The Critic.
Yes.
Yeah, dude.
And Andrew, there's a scene that Alexander Siddig and Andrew Robinson did during the pandemic over Zoom. A scene that somebody had written, I don't remember who, but basically was their two characters, and we find out that they are essentially married after the events of the show. Like that's the big twist at the end of the episode, is that the two of them are married. And I'm like, you know what? I fucking dig that. I love that for them. Yeah. I want them to be happy together. But yeah, no, I love Alexander Siddig. I was thrilled to see him in this movie. I wish they'd given him more to do. I wish he'd had a bit more of an arc, but you know what? I will take what I can get.
Hey, this is kind of a little bit of a sidebar here, Stephen, but I just learned about this and I can't believe I had never realized it before. But I read online somebody was saying that Data from TNG is like the character is autistic coded.
Yeah.
And I'd never thought about that before, but there was some comment I was reading on a message board somewhere, and somebody was talking about how, like, as a young autistic person, like Data helped them feel like represented and like understood and seen and shit. And I thought that was really cool. I had never considered that.
In the same way that like Dave Bautista's Drax is doing for like a younger generation, like basically making them feel seen. Like, oh, I don't understand metaphors either. Like I laugh at things that people find weird and inappropriate. Like this character resonates with me in a really interesting way. Like, yeah, I absolutely have heard that discourse, and I absolutely buy into it. Like there are things that maybe we didn't realize at the time, and I think Star Trek is one of those series that kind of broke a lot of ground in that way, in being able to talk about things that no one else could really talk about. And that's one of the main reasons I continue to love Star Trek.
Well, and it's always been kind of a staple of the series to kind of break new ground in representation.
Absolutely.
And stuff like that.
That was Gene Roddenberry's whole idea, is like, there's get us one of each on the bridge, pretty much, was his mentality.
Straight up smooching a black lady in the 60s, Steven.
And
he was a white dude.
Somehow that was more scandalous than him making out with green-skinned ladies. Like that's
no, I don't want anybody to misunderstand. That was the way I said that was sarcasm. I'm not like surprised that a white dude can smooch a black lady. That was sarcasm, because in those days people would have been like, what?
In the 60s when that aired, that was an incredibly controversial episode. Like it was breaking ground, and they wanted to have like shots where they like didn't film the kiss or like hid the kiss, and Shatner fucked all of those up, so they had to include the shots with the kiss. And I'm like, fucking A, love this.
Mr. Rogers saw that and was like, bet. Like yeah, dude.
Yeah, man. Like, and which is wild, because Shatner now is like, oh yeah, Star Trek was never political, and you're like, the fuck?
Well, because that kind of shit shouldn't be political, Steven. I don't want to get on a big rant about this shit, but like, That should just be normal, like normal shit. Nobody should bat an eye at shit like that at all.
I mean, I agree. Should it be political? I mean, that be a politicized issue? No. But
No.
was it? Absolutely. And did Roddenberry absolutely know what he was doing when he aired that? Fuck yes, he did.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
So you can't say Star Trek was not political unless you're just an asshole.
That's true.
So, yeah. Anyway, Doomsday.
Doomsday.
For a movie we enjoy, we seem to be doing everything we can to not talk about it.
Well, because look, you got the action scenes, and then the rest is, I don't know, I forgot it, because who cares?
Kind of, basically. Yeah.
So, yeah.
That last car chase fucking rips. I love it so much.
It was really cool.
The way I think the editing works there. I feel like this is a guy who knows how to edit. I think I said this earlier. Knows how to edit action, not anything else. So the action scenes are really, they're well shot, they're well executed, they're well edited. The rest of the movie hit or miss, honestly, for me.
Well, you know, the opposite of a jack of all trades is a master of one. And when you're really, really good at one thing, it means usually you can't do other things worth shit.
Correct.
So that's this movie.
And there you are.
In a nutshell.
And there we have it. But yeah, no, like, again, Doomsday. Fun movie. Should I recommend you watch it? Yes. Get your ass on Max and watch Doomsday.
Well, for me, it depends on who you are, because there are some people I would recommend this to, and there are some people I wouldn't.
Okay.
I would say people who are into the genre and want to see something that is really fun, has a lot of really cool action sequences, plus a lot of homages to what are probably some of your favorite films.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Certainly better films, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that's Doomsday. Doomsday opens on March 14th, 2008. 2008. It opens to 4.9 million on its way to an 11 million American domestic box office run. Earns
Spoilers,
another.
it doesn't do very well internationally either.
Earns
You're
another
not see much more.
10.6 international for 21.6 worldwide on a budget of 33 million.
Look, I thought this movie was just okay, but it deserved better than that.
Agreed.
I think.
Agreed. It opens.
I would love to have seen this at the theater. It would have made my experience 100 times better. Because can you imagine those action set pieces in a theater with a good sound system?
Would be so good. Would be so good,
dude.
So good. Also opening this week in the number 1 spot, Doomsday opens at number 7. But opening in the number 1 spot, a Dr. Seuss adaptation, the first fully animated Dr. Seuss adaptation after Mike Myers ruined all the live action ones.
Is it the Lorax?
It's not. It's Horton Hears a
Who. Son of a bitch. I forgot they did that one first.
Yeah, Jim Carrey and Steve Carell, and I think Will Arnett's in that motherfucker as well. In second place, 10,000 BC. Remember that one? No. Neither does anyone else. Also opening this week at number 3, Never Back Down.
What? I don't know what that is.
I don't either. I'm looking it up right now.
What the fuck is that?
Certainly did better than this movie. Yeah, Amber Heard,
Look Down. Don't Look
Jaimin
Down.
Hansu, Evan Peters, Leslie Hope, directed by Jeff Wadlow.
Okay.
Yeah, summary of the movie.
Some people do some stuff and things happen.
Yeah, man. Sweet. I don't know.
Don't look down.
Don't know anything about it. Never Back Down.
Something about climbing? Is it? No, okay. Never Back Down. Okay. I thought it was Don't Look Down. It's like, is this a climbing movie? There's one thing I hate more than boat movies. It's climbing movies and kissing movies.
Vertical Limit was the first movie I saw in theaters where I was like, that is actively bad. Like, I walked out going, I did not like that movie.
Oh, but Cliffhanger's the shit, though.
Sure. Vertical Limit, though, not so much.
And fucking Tom Cruise in MI2 is the shit. At the beginning, Mimby, when he's just free climbing just because he wants to, because that's what Ethan Hunt does in his free time.
Because Tom
Cruise
sees
a rock and he's like,
climb a fucking mountain. Yep. A
And wow,
frustrated
there's some impressive shots
here's the
too.
plot of Never Back Down. A frustrated and
Oh,
conflicted
finally.
teenager arrives at a new high school to discover an underground fight club and
Oh,
meets a
wow.
classmate who begins to coerce him into fighting.
That okay. I guess sure.
Sure.
That's a movie that existed. Sure.
Yep. That happened and we all let it
Cool.
happen. In
Cool.
fourth place, College Road Trip. Um, in its second weekend has earned more than the entire box office gross of Doomsday.
That sounds like a direct to video movie.
It does. Yeah.
Is it a sequel to Road Trip with
I,
Tom Green?
here's the thing. I don't know that it
Or
is
Euro
because
Trip? I think Euro Trip is part of that franchise, technically.
College Road Trip. You know what College Road Trip is? That is a rated G Disney comedy starring Martin Lawrence and Raven Simone.
That's Raven Simone.
There's an accent on the E of her name.
I don't give a fuck, Steven, because when this woman speaks her own name, she says Raven Simone.
You know who
Everybody
else is
knows
in that
this,
movie
Steven.
is Will Sasso. Donny Osmond, the brother of Seth Meyers himself, Josh Myers.
But Donny Osmond's in that movie, though?
Donny Osmond, he plays a character named Doug.
Really?
My partner's mother once coerced her into meeting Donny Osmond. True story.
Can I meet Donny Osmond?
I don't know, can you?
I would like to.
In fifth place, a movie I saw in theaters and do not remember at all, but I know I saw it. Vantage Point.
I remember that being really interesting, the way it was shot and the way it was presented, but I also don't remember anything about it. I think it was one of those where, like, excuse me, edit that out, Tucker. I think it's one of those where, like, it shows you the same thing over and over from different people's points of view.
They're
And I
trying
remember it
real
being,
hard to be a Rashomon, and I don't think
I
it worked out very well.
I remember it being really interesting and like I liked it. So wait, who directed that?
A guy, the very famous, very well-known director Pete Travis.
Are you being silly?
Yes, I
Is that
am.
really a well-known person?
No, he's not. And that's the point. He is also the director, though, of a future episode of this podcast, Dread.
Oh, that's recent. Well, that's
The
12
Carl,
years ago.
yeah, the
But,
Carl Urban Judge Dredd movie.
which I still haven't seen.
But yeah, Vantage Point. Dennis Quaid, Forrest Whitaker, Matthew Fox, the great Bruce McGill, Edgar Ramirez, Zoe Saldana, Sigourney Weaver.
In this?
She is. William Hurt, the Big Hurt. Holt McElhaney. Gotta love Holt McElhaney. Like, it's got a good cast, but like,
I remember it being okay.
I remember
also
it being bad.
I also kind of remember it being a movie that I wanted to see because I liked the director's previous work, but I just looked at his IMDb and I don't think that's very possible.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna say it.
I
Maybe
think
it was produced by someone, and they're like from the producers of blah 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 blah, and you're like, oh, I like that thing.
It was. I feel like maybe it had a similar poster to that Suspect Zero, maybe. And I liked Suspect Zero.
That'll do it, yeah.
Because I liked Shadow of the Vampire. And I liked one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen in my life. The movie that got the director of Shadow of the Vampire that job. Begotten is what it's called. And it's just... It's... Man... It's kind of in the same sort of genre or subgenre of surrealism as something like an early David Lynch picture.
Okay.
It's really out there, and there's a lot of disturbing images, not because it's like violent or gory or anything, or just because of the way like people move and the way that it's shot. It's a really interesting, but like I said, deeply, deeply disturbing for not the normal reasons kind of film. I recommend it to anyone to watch on a Sunday morning, preferably after church.
Reading the synopsis of that makes me laugh.
Of Begotten?
Yeah.
How is there even a synopsis? doesn't make any sense. That movie doesn't make any sense. It's
On
wonderful.
IMDb, it says it is presented in a surreal, gory, and entirely visual manner. Begotten tells of the death of religion, the abuse of
guess.
nature by man, and a nihilistic outlook on what life ultimately is.
Yeah, man. Nick Cage saw that and he was like, "Hey, do this vampire movie for me." I can't do it. I don't know why I tried to do a Nick Cage.
That was bad.
That was really bad.
Mine will
Really,
not be
really
any
bad.
better, which is why I'm not going to do it.
Why did I think I had a Nick Cage?
I don't know, man.
What do I have that's close to? I don't have a John Travolta. I'm trying to think of like who I would be thinking of that I would confuse with Nick Cage because they got their faces switched. Is the only
right?
reason.
No, I understand. Right.
I really love in that movie
the same person. Yeah.
The thing that makes that movie work as well as it does outside of like the action scenes and everything, and the straight up John Woo of it all,
fucking John Woo of it all,
is that both Nick Cage and John Travolta do such a good job acting like each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like Travolta does a fantastic Nick Cage, and Nick Cage does a perfect John Travolta.
It's really wonderful.
Perfect. It's uncanny, and I love it.
Wonderful. It really is.
I love those two men. Probably like 90% of my love for those two men is because of those performances.
I love
and that's
that.
saying a lot because they've both done some pretty fantastic stuff.
And here's the thing, I wouldn't call that either of their best work, honestly.
No, not at all. Just the fact that they were able to pull it off and make it convincing.
Correct.
Fuck, man.
Yep,
like even the movements, like the walk and everything. Like I was saying about Mahershala Ali in season 3 of True Detective.
Mm-hmm.
Like their mannerisms, like their whole body changes, like the way they move change, and it's fantastic. I should watch that soon. Is there a 4K of that? Can I buy a 4K of that?
A 4K of, let me check.
Face Off. Because I haven't seen it in probably 10 years, and I was watching it on VHS then.
There is absolutely a 4K Face Off 4K.
Sweet. Is it standard studio fare, or is it put out by one of the boutique labels?
It is. Looks like standard studio fare, my friends.
All right. It's good to know. And that is not a bad price either.
Nope, $27 on Amazon. That's pretty good. Pretty good.
Well, that alternate box art is really awful.
It is not good.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know, man. The Amazon does say it is a frequently returned item, so
it might be like a Region
beware.
B or something.
I mean, that wouldn't bother me because I have a Region 4K player. Yeah, that I finally found out how to watch everything on. Finally found the paper that has all the way to change it, so I can now literally watch anything, which is great. But rounding out our top 10 in 6th place, The Bank Job, Jason Statham movie. Doomsday in number 7, the Will Ferrell film Semi-Pro in 8th place. The Other Boleyn Girl in 9th, and the future episode of this podcast, The Spiderwick Chronicles, clocking in at number 10. And at number 11, another future episode, Jumper.
A lot of these, like this was not a good week, month, season for films because that I don't know what half of that shit is.
It's March, and that's the thing we've got to remember is like this. A lot of this stuff is like the stuff coming off of January, February, which is the studio dumping ground for movies that are not.
It was good. Then. Now, it came out in March, but now it gets earlier and earlier every year. The pre-blockbuster season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
where you
Marvel moved it to like late April. Like it used to be Memorial Day weekend, and Marvel moved it up to fucking late April. And I'm like, damn you.
And now we're here on May 24th with Furiosa.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna go see it.
It's gonna be good. The tomatometer score on this is a 50%, right down the middle.
That's fair.
The critics' consensus: Doomsday is a pale imitation of previous futuristic thrillers, minus the cohesive narrative and charismatic leads. I'm inclined to agree, though I do enjoy it. The Metascore is a 51. Based on mixed or average reviews from 14 critics. And Tucker, would you care to take a stab at the Letterboxd score?
I'm going to say this one's going to come in right around 2.8 and 3.2.
You didn't even have to give the second one. It's a 2.8.
Hey.
On the nugget,
Hey.
the average Letterboxd score is a 2.8. And speaking of Letterboxd scores, Tucker, how do you rate 2008's Doomsday?
Look, it hurts me to do this because there's a lot of really cool shit in this movie, man. But overall, it's just kind of whatevs. It's a 2.5 for me.
It's a 3.5 for me. I really do enjoy it. That gives us an average score of 3.
That's fair.
Like I had a lot of fun with it. I love the performances in it. I think there's a lot of potential here, but unfortunately, I think so much of the potential is unrealized. I wanted this movie to be a lot.
See, you just immediately cleared your throat, right? Like you don't keep talking like that.
I don't.
Guy in this movie.
I think that's just how the guy talks.
Louise. No, dude, just he needs to clear his throat, man, or take a drink of water or something. Whoa, wait, was I just Pennsylvanian there?
I
for
was
a
gonna say,
moment?
what are you from Philadelphia all of a sudden?
What the
Water?
fuck?
I'm gonna drink some myself.
Oh man, I don't know where that came from.
But I think ultimately, God, I think ultimately this movie is kind of less than the sum of its parts because all the potential it has, so much of it is just unrealized. And I want more from this world, but I want this movie to do a better job of creating this world for me.
I would still watch a TV series of this.
I would read a comic book of this.
Look, if Neil Marshall were like, he was like, I realized this didn't work as a film, but like, I think I can make this a good show. And he got the right people in the writer's room and, you know, the right network or streaming service behind it. It could, even if people aren't familiar with the film, I think with the right marketing, it could be a big deal.
This feels like something that could like clean up on like a streamer or something.
Yeah, get a minor recognizable star in there in a main role, and boom, bam, you got yourself 2 or 3 seasons.
100%. I mean, at this point, it could honestly just be Rona Mitra reprising her role. Honestly,
Yeah, I'd watch that for sure.
I mean, she's not a particularly well-known actress, but she's very good in this. I think she's very good at what she's doing here.
Yeah, I think
Again,
so too.
I love all the pieces. I just don't think it coheses as well as it should, which is ultimately why I end up at a 3.5 with it. But I'm having a good time. I'm enjoying it. I really, truly am.
But my enjoyment comes in spurts, which is why mine is a 2.5.
Which, again, fair. Absolutely.
It's a roller coaster,
fair.
Man.
It is.
A roller coaster.
And that's okay. And hey, what do you know? We've come to the end of another episode of the Disenfranchised podcast. We did it, everybody.
Yes.
We did it. Look at that. Look at us go.
It's been done.
Yeah, so check us out, man. If you're not following us on the social medias, we're at Disenfranchised Pod on Instagram, Letterboxd, Facebook, and Blue Sky. Follow us on all of those. Let us know what you think. Shoot us an email, disenfranchisepod@gmail.com. Just give us an idea of what you think. And you know what? If you do, we'll probably read your shit on the air. Speaking of shit we'll read on the air, if you leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, we're 100% going to read that shit on the pod. Swing on over to Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star rating and review, please and thank you. We really do like it when you do that for us. And yeah, patreon.com/disenfranchised. We plugged it already. Let's plug it again. It's the official conversation, as Tucker is so fond of saying, of the Disenfranchised podcast, and that costs you nothing. But if you want to throw us a few bones, you will find hours of content up behind that paywall. Shows ranging from Oops All Christianity Corner, where I talk about my religious trauma, shit like Oops All Video Game Corner, where Brett talks about video games, Disenfranchised at the Movies, where we talk about movies currently in theaters and do commentaries on movies and movie trailers and sometimes short films. Like, there's so much behind the paywall there. And of course, the aforementioned bi-weekly episode of What Are We Watching as well. It's a good time over at the Disenfranchised Patreon, and you should be there if you are not. So check that shit out.
And look, you don't have to believe us. You don't even have to pay us to look at what we have on our Patreon. Like, we have
Correct.
little collections, like basically playlists collecting all the episodes of all the different shows we do on the Patreon, and you can browse those for free. And you'll be like, that's so much content. And you'll be like, this is probably worth $5 a month, even if, you know, even if it's for a month or 2 months, you know. There's so much content, hours of us droning on about shit that doesn't matter, and it's
look,
fantastic.
If you love listening to us do that here, you're gonna fucking adore it behind the paywall.
Oh yeah, we're way cuter behind the paywall.
We're fucking adorable behind the paywall.
We're so wholesome.
just some big old group of snuggly bunnies.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where you can find the podcast. I am your host, Stephen Foxworthy. You can find me on Instagram, Letterboxd, and Blue Sky at Chewy Walrus. Our absent co-host Brett Wright can be found on Instagram. Letterboxd at sus_warlock. Just Letterboxd. He doesn't do much on Instagram. It's just Letterboxd, sus_warlock. Tucker, what about you?
I'm on YouTube and also Instagram at Ice909. That's ICENINE, the number 0 and the number 9. Also, of course, I would be silly of me not to mention Tuck Mugs. That's Tuck_mugs. Why do I say it that way? Like, when I'm in normal conversation, I'm like, hey, get me that mug. But like, when I say Tuck Mugs, I don't know why. I don't know why it's like
Tuck Mugs.
It's like Tuck_Migs. I don't know why I say it that way.
You sounded like Eric fucking Cartman.
Straight up Migs.
Migs. I love the Migs. Gimme the Migs.
We had a post a couple weeks ago, a self-post, about a new travel mug that I've acquired that's pretty rad. Honestly, you know, I'm kind of waiting for a new guest mug. I've got some self-posts sort of in the wings, but I kind of want to make the guest mug sort of the heart of the page, because I really like the idea of making a community around something that no one can argue about or get shitty about. So
right
I'm just trying to grow that community. So anybody that's listening right now, send us your mugs. You can message us at Tuck_mugs on Instagram, or you can straight up email us your mugs. Yeah, just send us a photo of your mug, tell us how you got it, or if it has a cool story behind it, or what it means to you, and tell us what's in it at time of the photograph. That's it. That's all you gotta do. There's no, like, it doesn't even have to be good, you know? It doesn't have to be exciting. Just whatever makes it special to you.
You know what I forgot to do again, Tucker?
What you forgot to do again, Tucker?
I forgot to make a plug.
A plug?
Something I did.
Plug it up.
I have not talked about on the main feed yet.
Oh,
I've talked about it
you guys,
a couple other podcasts, but I've not talked about it here.
You guys, Steven made a book. He made a book.
Did. So my partner and I
did a book.
Past and future guest Mandy Gossage, we have written a novel together called Check In, Check Out. You can buy it either a paperback or in ebook format on Amazon.com. It's called Check In, Check Out. You can search my name, Stephen E. Foxworthy, my partner, Mandy Gossage. And it's a comedy thriller about a group of strangers brought into a hotel for a drug study, what they think is a drug study, and it turns out to be a fight to the death. And it's really goofy, very silly, but also We think hopefully very challenging, very fun. My mom liked it, and she didn't have to because she doesn't like
Yeah.
a lot of stuff I've done,
Yeah.
like this podcast. But
Yeah.
she liked the
That's
book,
okay.
so
We still like Steven's mom. Like, we
Oh
get
yeah,
why you don't like our podcast, Steven's mom. Like, I get that. Like,
yeah.
I know enough about you to know that it's just not your thing, and
It's
that's
not.
cool. Like, we're still very cool.
Yeah. No, we
All of
love we
us.
love my mom. My mom's great. My
we
mom's a nice
love
lady.
we love Mrs. Stevens' mom. We love you, Mrs. Stevens' mom. You brought us this wonderful young man, and that in itself is worth a pat on the back.
There you go. But no, like she said, I told my partner this. I was like, my mom told me a book. She wasn't done with it at the time. She goes, a book has to be really bad for me to stop reading it, and this book isn't that. And my partner's like, well, then we need to like do a second edition and use that as the pull quote.
I'm just saying that's the quote right there.
That's the cover quote for sure. That's not this book. But no, it's a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun writing it. My partner and I did. We started work on a second book. I don't know when that's going to be out. I have no promises, but yeah, we're working on a follow up now. So it's not a sequel to what we wrote, but I don't know if we're going to sequelize what we wrote. We left the door open.
Call
though.
it a comeback. Hey, we might cover it on Disenfranchised.
We might. But yeah, check it out. Check in, check out on Amazon. You can get either ebook or paperback format. And if you do get a paperback and you ever meet me in public while you have your copy of the paperback, I will straight up sign it for you.
Now, Stephen, since you and I are, as you claimed earlier in the podcast, friends, I wonder if I were to purchase your book, if you all would sign it for me. Like, let's say I just, instead of shipping it to my house, I sent it to your house, and then like you all, both of y'all would sign it.
Oh, we 100% would. Absolutely,
and then
we would.
When I see you at Christmas,
yeah,
you could just give it to me then.
It
would be like a Christmas gift I paid for.
Right. I could
That's
absolutely
the best kind.
do that. I could absolutely do that for you. Yeah, 100%.
Now, nobody else gets that treatment because
No.
Don't ask for Steven's address because he's not going to give it to you.
Absolutely will not. No.
I already know it, so whatever.
Because Tucker is a friend. Actually, I did move in. Have I given you my updated address since I moved last year?
No, I think the last thing I don't remember what I sent you. Did I send you something?
The last thing I remember you sent me was the Coin of Justice. Did you send me something since the Coin of Justice?
I don't know. You sent me this. No, you brought me the Scream.
Yeah.
4K.
I was going to say, because the Coin of Justice was 2 addresses ago. Okay. And a whole state ago. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
That's been a hot minute. So, yeah.
Steven be moving.
I do be moving, though.
Yeah.
I do be moving.
That's pretty cool.
And speaking of moving.
Buy Steven's book.
Yeah, buy my book. Like, speaking of John Lovitz and the critic, buy my book. Buy my book. Buy my book. Yeah, fucking buy my book. Yeah, and I will be very indebted to you. Thank you so much for buying my book in advance. And if you like it, leave us a review on Goodreads.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna buy it, and then I'm going to leave an anonymous, unbiased review on Goodreads, and then I'm gonna tell Steven my biased review.
Yeah, right. Love it. I do appreciate that. And you know what? Leave us a review on Amazon too, because we could definitely use the hits. So yeah. Again, I thought it was a lot of fun. My partner and I had a great time writing it. And I think you should check it out. Look, if you read it and you want to know like how we wrote it and how we figured out the story, you can shoot me an email, disenfranchpod@gmail.com. And only after you've read it will I reveal how we actually decided to tell the story.
We could do a special podcast on the Patreon.
We could do a Patreon exclusive. My partner could join us.
Like, yeah, if there was, like, let's say band meeting on the air, if there was enough interest and we got enough questions and stuff, we'd just do kind of like a Q&A. You could answer questions from the comments and reviews and emails and whatever.
That
would be rad as shit.
That would be that kind of like an Upsal Christianity corner, but about my book.
Yeah. But then it would also be a roast too. And
Probably. Yeah.
I would host it. I would be the roast master. Yeah.
That tracks. Yeah, that really does track.
We'll
But
get a
yeah,
lot of all of our past guests will come in and do a type 5 on you, you know, just talking shit about you.
especially all of our past guests who are authors like Ariel Power Shab and Kat
Yes.
Sully and just ripping me a new one. Yeah, that'd be a good time. But yeah, that is our show. That is Disenfranchised. Thank you so much for joining us. We've got one coming up next week that I have been waiting to cover. I have literally just been waiting for a movie to come out, tying into this movie so that we can cover it. It's a movie I saw in theaters. It was a movie I was unabashedly a fan of because I was a big dumb dummy as a kid. It's not good, but I cannot wait to talk about it. I am absolutely thrilled to discuss it. But you're gonna have to wait till next week. So
you will. Hey, and in 2 weeks, there's a straight up, you guys.
In 2 weeks, there is straight up a straight up.
Oh, I'm so excited.
But yeah, until then, this has been the Disenfranchised Podcast. I am your host, Stephen Foxworthy. For Tucker, my co-host, and the absent Brett Wright. Until next time, in the land of the infected, the immune man is king.
By Stephen's book.